I got to say she's one of the absolute nicest people in the sport, and that's Kathy Fennell, the President of Operations for FLW Outdoors. If you will make her feel very welcome. And before I hand off to you, I just want to say, again, kind of like with the rest of our day, we were wanting to really have an informal conversation. We're going to have Kathy come up, just so you know, close, and then we're going to have Jerry come up, and then if they're open to it, maybe have a few at-large questions, and we'll kind of keep in with the theme. But Kathy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you so much. I'm so excited, so happy to be here today, and it's great to see Jerry. It's good to see you here today too. And I want to just start by saying thank you to Ranger, to Randy and to Keith and to Bart and all the team at Ranger that worked so hard to keep this sport strong. I also want to say thank you to each and every one of you, because you're all a part of this. And it's your commitment to this industry and to the sport of competitive fishing. I mean, that's the reason that we're all still here today. I have to say a special thank you to Forrest Wood, the person who's responsible for us all having the opportunity to be here today and to be involved in this great sport. And I'll have to tell you, I've been in awe of Forrest since the first day I met him, and that continues. And I thank you so much for all that you do. As it's been said, there's no question that we've been through some tough times recently. But certainly that's not specific to us or to this industry. It applies to the economy as a whole. But the good news is that we're still here. And not only are we still here, but we're headed into 2011 with more momentum than we've experienced in several years. It reminds us of, and as Forrest says, we're not going to necessarily get back to where we were, but maybe that's not where we needed to be anyway, because obviously there were problems with that. But we certainly now, we're looking forward to a bright future, and we're headed into 2011 with great opportunities in front of us. Trish Blake, my counterpart in Minneapolis, and I recently had an opportunity to do an interview with Bass Fan. And one of the things that we were both asked was, what's the mood like in your offices, and how are things going? And I'll tell you, we both answered very honestly in very much the same way. And that is that we're excited, and that we're energized, and we're optimistic, and we are so looking forward to the future. And we've got great days ahead of us. We know that we do. And we all know that things don't turn around overnight. That never happens. But at least now we have the opportunity to actually already be seeing results of this new revived energy within the sport. And those things are already having an impact on our business in Kentucky and in Minneapolis. And I know that those are the same things that will ultimately translate into positive impacts on your businesses as well. For those of you who missed it, when we were in Atlanta, we had two huge announcements there. And one was that T. Boone Pickens was becoming an equity partner in FLW Outdoors. And that was a pretty impressive thing, and it was nice to meet T. Boone Pickens and to have him there with us. But the greatest thing was when he was there on the stage, he's a real eager go-getter guy, and he said, well, I want to do something, I want to do something now. I want to do something to impact this event. And so I kind of kid, and hopefully he wouldn't be offended, but I always say he reached into his pocket and pulled out his loose change, which happened to be $100,000, and added that to the winner's paycheck. And we were honored to be able to present that to a loyal Ranger owner, to Kevin Hawk. And just as a result, then, Kevin turns around and orders a brand new Ranger boat and takes a portion of that money. And so I guess the message there is that it's important to have powerful people and people of influence who are involved, and certainly he is one. And the other announcement, Wal Mart's return as the name and title to the FLW Tour, is huge for us, and ultimately for this industry. Wal Mart's return means lots of things. And one of those things is just a direct effect on more sponsors. And more sponsors results in expanded programs. Expanded programs results in bigger purses for anglers and more team opportunities. And so there are just so many good things. And like I said, we're not going to see the results of them overnight, but the good news is that we're headed in the right direction. And one of the areas that we're so happy to see impacted by this is our participation levels. And we've only recently started taking entries for next year, but for the FLW Tour Majors, we already have over 150 pros registered for the majors. And as you know, we take up to 160 anglers there, and we could reach that number before we get back to the office this afternoon. I mean, I think that speaks volumes for the renewed energy in the sport and the excitement and the optimism that is out there. Our first FLW Tour Open, we already have a full field with a waiting list there. For the AFS series, we have an extensive waiting list for our season opener at Lake Okeechobee. And talking specifically about the openers, except for the majors, obviously, which is tournaments, but the rest of the numbers look great too. And at the BFL, we haven't started taking into that, just it had an opportunity to do there, the Wal Mart period, 2 weekends, one during March and one during Wal Mart lessons. We went to Fishing Expo. We had some people on this who said, I'm not sure we could accomplish. We sat down and we said, you know, the people we can call, people who can make this possible are the anglers that have out there in the field, those people who are loyal and supportive. And we sent out emails and started placing phone calls, and we've already received hundreds of emails, phone calls, people who are volunteering to help us to make this happen at the Wal Mart stores. And that means for you, well, the good news is that in all those career opportunity where it's something that's an option for the angler, they can take their boat, you know, display their boat, and they're there to promote not just FLW, not just Wal Mart's recommitment to the sport, but all of our sponsors and all of their sponsors.